Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm dog sitting right now and I felt like I had to take advantage of the opportunity to film with a Christmas tree. If you're really into Christmas trees, I'm pretty sure this is a Grand Duchess, like the viral Christmas tree. I don't know, it's giving me that vibe. I can't verify that though. Today's video is going to be all about cozy TV shows to watch in the winter. I feel like sometimes I kind of am like reheating my own nachos and like repeating a lot of my favorite shows. So this video is going to be primarily shows that I've never talked about, except like a couple I did mention in my last video, but I'm going to assume that you've never watched that. Without further ado, let's get started. First show to watch this winter is Normal People. This is based off a book and it follows our two main characters, Marianne and Connell, over several years, and we follow their relationship from high school through adulthood and the changes that come with that. The show is so emotional. It's pretty sad, which is why it could be good for the winter, but I would just be aware of it going in. Very emotional, intimate, character driven. I watched the show when it first came out on Hulu. It stars Daisy Edgar Jones as Marianne and what's his name? and Paul Mescal as Connell. I feel like this was the first show that they were in, and it's become kind of a yearly rewatch for me, which is probably weird. I feel like Normal People isn't really the kind of show that you would want to rewatch, especially if you've already watched it and it's kind of like, why am I gonna put myself through this again? A certain type of person would put themselves through this show annually. I am that person. It's based on Sally Rooney's book, Normal People. And if you've ever read a Sally Rooney book, there's not much plot as there is vibes. I like to describe it as we're just kind of dropped into people's lives and we follow them for however long the story is, and maybe there's exciting things happening, but for the most part it's just like a normal life. It's just normal people living their life. So in books, if you like literary fiction, I don't think literary fiction what is like the film equivalent of the literary fiction genre? No plot, just vibes movies like Lady Bird, where it's more of an exploration of characters rather than really exciting or intriguing plot. But there is a plot in those movies. It's just, I would say we're more so watching to see how characters grow over time. But I can't find if that's like a genre, like an independent artsy film, I guess. That's the genre of Normal People. Obviously things are happening, but you're less watching to get to the end of the story than you are watching to experience life with these characters. I don't write full out scripts for these videos. I just kind of do like an outline with bullet points. Maybe I need to be writing a script because I'm just rambling and I'm saying a lot of nothing. Okay, the next show you should watch this winter is The Witcher. This is based on a video game. Never played it, but I like the vibes of the show. We follow our main character, Geralt, who is a monster hunter in this fantasy world. Would it be crazy to say this gives me a similar vibe to The Last of Us? Based on a video game, follows a grumpy old man, his like adopted daughter figure, as they travel the world, and he has to protect the girl because she's special. I mean, that's 5 similarities right there. This would be a show that you watch to get to the end of the plot and follow the story, but the character relationships are still really interesting. Like I said, our main character has kind of a fatherly relationship with this princess who's very important, and he has to train her and protect her. There's lots of action and battles. There's a lot of things happening at once. In the winter, I just crave fantasy, and I would say this is more dark fantasy, and again, very action-packed, lots of fighting. He's a monster hunter. He's hunting monsters. But I would say it feels cold and wintry, partially because the main characters have white hair. Is that crazy? Is that crazy to say, or am I like drawing connections? This is on Netflix, and the first 3 seasons star Henry Cavill. Is that how you say it? Henry Cavill. In my head, I always say Henry Cavill, but it's Henry Cavill. Wait, no, it's not. Henry Cavill. The first 3 seasons star Henry Cavill, who is the only person I can picture in this role. I'm not such a diehard fan that I will never watch the 4th season. They recast him with Liam Hemsworth, which I really don't know why. And I feel like from what I've seen, the world also doesn't know why. Season 4 is out. Honestly, I can't guarantee that I'll watch it. And if Liam Hemsworth being in it puts you off, this next recommendation could be for you. The prequel to The Witcher Blood Origin. Now, guys, I like this more than The Witcher. I like the prequel more than The Witcher, okay? I just felt like it was so much more interesting. The Witcher is like dark. We're following a monster hunter, so there's more action, violence, you might say. The Witcher Blood Origin felt more magical to me. This takes place like 1200 years before The Witcher. So we get to see this ancient elven empire before it collapsed. And it's this group of outcast characters that band together to fight a corrupt empire. Obviously, it's a prequel to The Witcher, so we get to see how things in that story came to be, how The Witcher was created. This is more of a high fantasy than The Witcher. Again, it felt very magical, and I kind of liked it more. I liked it more than The Witcher. I'm due for a rewatch. Can't say definitively, but I remember at the time liking this story more, and just really good visuals. It's only 1 season, probably like 8 episodes, so the perfect limited series length to just kind of binge watch. Okay, I'm gonna rapid fire these next 3 shows because I did just talk about them in my last video, but again, I'm assuming you haven't watched that. So first up, we have Arcane. This is also on Netflix. This is an animated show, 2 seasons. It's based on League of Legends characters, but it's its own independent story. We follow 2 sisters who are caught on opposite sides of a conflict in their There's actually lots of conflict. There's actually lots of conflict and lots of stories, but I would say the main story is about 2 sisters who end up being caught on opposite sides of the main conflict, which would be this growing tension between this oppressed underground city of Zon and the utopian city of Piltover above it. This is a sci-fi fantasy. The world building is really good, lots of lore. The story feels very epic in the way that it's told, but it also has a lot of heart. It has really good emotional character moments and character arcs. Everyone's growing and changing, some for the better, some not for the better. The animation's great, music's great, vibes are great, really easy to get lost in. In my last video, I also talked about Rain. This is a CW historical retelling of the story of Mary Queen of Scots. We follow a young Mary Queen of Scots as she arrives in French court, where it is arranged that she will marry Prince Francis. But of course, there's drama because it's a CW show. There are love triangles. There's like drama with the side characters. It also has a lot of crazy things happening in the background. I wouldn't say there's action, but there are attacks and wars and things because of the time period that this is technically taking place in. And then also Game of Thrones. I know people don't like the ending. I don't like the ending, but the build up to the end is really good. And honestly, are you even gonna make it all 8 seasons? You might watch 2 or 3 seasons and then be like, okay, I'm ready for something new. And then you would walk away really having enjoyed those few seasons. This is a huge fantasy world. We follow a bunch of noble houses as they fight for control of the Iron Throne. Whoever sits on the Iron Throne is kind of like the main recognized ruler of the whole world. Dragons, magic, political intrigue, violence, action, and if you really need a winter tie, King of the North, winter is coming. There you go. Watch the show, figure out what it means. Okay, now to continue with shows I've never talked about before. Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is a show that I rewatch every year because this has a great ending. This has a great setup, great storytelling, great ending, great character arcs, great animation. It's just all around great. I think a lot of people might agree this is like the best show ever made. It's right up there for me with Attack on Titan. There's a world Do I really need to explain what Avatar The Last Airbender is? How would I explain this to someone who's never heard of it? We're in a fantasy world. There's 4 nations: fire, air, earth, water. At any given time, there is one person called okay. The magic in this world is called bending. So you could be a firebender and control fire, an earthbender, control the earth, waterbender, control water, airbender, control the air. Now, unfortunately, in the time that our story is set in, the Fire Nation has wiped out all of the airbenders. Crazy. However, at any given time, there is one person called the Avatar who can master all 4 of the elements. I'm kind of cooking with this. The Avatar is meant to keep the peace, and it just so happens that in our story, the Avatar is the last airbender. They missed him in the attack. So we follow the Avatar, Aang, as he tries to master all 4 elements, defeat the Fire Nation, bring back peace to the world. Because the Fire Nation is trying to take over the entire world, and they're kind of succeeding. I mean, they already wiped out the airbenders. All that's left is water and earth, and they're really working towards that goal very vigorously. However, as serious as that might sound, this is a kids show that aired on Nickelodeon. So that plot is definitely weaved throughout the episodes, but sometimes it's more in the background and we'll have a silly episode. There's definitely lighthearted moments. It's more of a fun action adventure than like a dark war story. It's not a dark war story. The world building is just really, really good. If for some reason you've never watched the show, take this as your sign to finally watch it this winter. I lied. There's one more show that I've talked about before. Shadow and Bone. This is on Netflix. It was canceled. It's also based on a book. We're in this fantasy world. People called Grisha have different kinds of magic. We're at war. There is this giant shadow that has split a part of the world called the Fold, and it's dark and there's monsters that live in it, so people can't pass through. However, we follow our main character, Alina, who discovers she has the power of light. She is the sun summoner, and we kind of follow her journey because she's like the only one who can tear down the Fold. Does that make sense? In the show, there's also a subplot that follows the Six of Crows characters from the book Six of Crows. It takes place in the same universe. They are like a little band of criminals, and they are tasked with capturing Alina. Okay, back to the new shows. Outlander. Now, I have only watched the first season of Outlander, but I really liked the first season. I like the premise, okay? We follow a World War II nurse who accidentally gets sent back in time to 18th century Scotland. She becomes entangled with Highland clans, political conflicts, and of course the whole point of the show is that there is a romance. She is married in the World War II time, and she also gets married in the Scotland time to someone totally different. I actually just watched the first season for Jamie. Jamie's the guy. He's so sweet. Bring back the 18th century Scottish men. I'm kidding. Most of them are not sweet. He's like a rare gem. It's not fantasy, it's historical, but it almost feels like fantasy because we're in 18th century Scotland. Very, very different way of doing things. Sweeping landscapes where there's castles. There is action. Everyone's always fighting, but I do think the main plot is the romance. This is based on books, and I think the books are written as a romance. Why else would you write a woman traveling back in time and falling in love with an 18th century Scottish man? Yeah, I've only watched the first season, but I do know what happens in the other seasons because I've seen trailers for them. And the first season has 16 episodes, and they're all an hour long. So that right there is 16 hours. That is double the length of an 8-episode limited series. Okay, we're getting down to our final couple shows. I can't leave you without recommending an anime, so I'm going to recommend hunterxhunter. I am so close to being done with this show. I'm finally on the last season. The Chimera Ant arc took me forever. forever to get through. It was never ending, but also it was kind of comforting that it was never ending, but also it was really stressful because every day I was sitting down wondering, how are they going to get out of this mess? And then things just continually got worse. Like, it was very stressful. But the first few seasons especially, we're just learning more about this world. We're following our main characters as they become friends. More comforting than the Chimera Ant arc. We're in a fantasy world. We follow a boy named Gon as he trains to become a hunter, which is a job in this world. At first, he's just trying to pass tests, train, get his hunter license, and then things start getting a little darker and higher stakes and scarier. My favorite arcs are the first 3, which are like training and tournaments and just like feel good, fun vibes. The main characters really kind of form this team and they help each other on their little missions and really incredible world building. It's a world that resembles ours, but then it also has these new fantastical elements. It's very long. If you want something where every day when you're eating dinner, you don't even have to think about what you're going to put on because you'll never run out of episodes of the show, hunterxhunter. Okay, now this isn't an official recommendation, but I'm watching this right now and it gives me a similar vibe to hunterxhunter, My Hero Academia. However, I can't in good faith recommend this show to you because there are so many sexual jokes. I'm just not a fan of it. I really like the main characters. I really like the plot. I really like the world. It is our world, but there are superheroes. People have quirks, which are like superpowers that they can train and hone, and then they also have to get licenses, but then they become heroes, and then they get employed by the government and are paid to save people, fight off villains, things like that. You might get it from the title, but we follow a group of students at a high school who train to be superheroes. That sounds so interesting. I love our main character. He reminds me a lot of Gon. I don't even care. In anime, I love a main character who is not only so strong and has this like special amazing power, but they also have a heart of gold and they're just so sweet and they have very clear ideas about what's good and what's evil and they try really hard to be good. Avatar, hunterxhunter, My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, I don't know. But yeah, I'm not going to tell you to go watch it because also in probably every single episode there are like the weirdest jokes and like animations. I don't even know if this is like middle school boy humor, but also it's like just so much that I'm like, ugh. It's stuff like that that kind of gives anime a bad name and makes people think that it's really weird because it'll be like a really weird animated shot and then like one of the boy characters like making the weirdest comments and jokes about it, but I want to know what happens, so I'm just pushing through. I really like the times where we're focused on the plot, which is majority of the time. I'm just hating on those moments. I like the show overall. Okay, and the last TV show recommendation is Once Upon a Time. This is crazy. I watched this when it was coming out on TV with my family. We would go into my parents' room and we'd all sit on their bed in like a little line and put this on the TV. And I didn't think that anyone actually watched this show, but apparently a lot of people did. And maybe it's just my TikTok, but I have seen so many people talking about it that I also have to talk about it. So it's a really interesting premise. Fairy tale characters are trapped in our world in Storybrooke, Maine. They don't have their memories. And we as the audience are like, that's Snow White, that's Prince Charming. A woman named Emma Swan is pulled into the town. She discovers that she has ties to magical things. And it's really interesting because the first season, the characters, again, have their memories wiped. So we're seeing these seemingly normal people go about their normal lives in Storybrooke, but then we're getting flashbacks to them when they were their fairy tale characters in their magical fairy tale worlds. And it's kind of a mystery we have to uncover with Emma Swan, because we're wondering how these characters got here, why their memories are wiped. Can we get them their memories back? Do they want their memories back? Are they happier in their normal lives? If we gave them their memories back, would that complicate things in their lives? So many episodes, and each season introduces new characters and new conflicts. The beginning seasons are stronger than the later seasons, I would say, just because the show went on for so long. But I'm also probably biased because I didn't watch the later season. I don't even remember when I stopped watching. They did like an Alice in Wonderland spinoff that actually has Sebastian Stan in it, which is so crazy. But I think I stopped watching around the time that came out. So I probably only saw the first 3 seasons, but there's just so many episodes because this was like airing on cable television. You don't have to sign up to watch every episode to still have a lot of things to watch. Alright guys, those were some cozy, bingeable TV shows that I think would be great to watch this winter. Let me know what you guys are watching this winter. Currently I'm watching My Hero Academia, but sometimes I don't feel like reading subtitles, so I'm on the hunt for another show to watch, preferably a new one. This has been a really big year of rewatching movies and TV shows for me, and I feel like I'm finally ready to start watching new things again. Like, comment, subscribe if you feel like it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!